recht herzliches Willkommen hier aus unserem Studio in Berlin-Spandau zu einer neuen Ausgabe Rock macht glücklich. Auch heute haben wir wieder ein paar Gäste eingeladen und unseren ersten Gast, den kennen Sie bestimmt. Ich sage nur, Sie sind nicht jung, Sie sind nicht alt, nein, Sie sind älter! Hey! Im Jugendjargon würde man wohl jetzt sagen, was für ein Brett. Das waren Elder, meine Damen und Herren, und wir sind gleich zurück nach einer kurzen Werbeunterbrechung.
It's been like hard for us to really deal with the fact that we're living across 2 continents and dealing with different like vaccination rollouts and travel restrictions and all of that bullshit that makes it just like one step harder for us to put together a tour right now than a lot of other bands. So yeah, we've got tours planned. Some of them we haven't even announced, like our US tours. They keep being rolled over because they keep being, you know, annulled basically by the fact that we're not vaccinated here. We're definitely going to be, I mean, everyone has been asking about us touring specific places like, you know, Europe, UK, America, Australia. We're working on tours in every one of those places. And we have European tours in the works that we're going to announce very shortly. We have a North American tour in the works that we're going to announce. We're still, again, you know, kind of bouncing back and forth between, you know, the timeline that's going to be most feasible while we're still waiting to get vaccinated and deal with visa crap. And we're talking to booking agents about an Australian tour at the moment, and definitely plans to go to South America. We're as hungry as everyone else is for live shows at this point, so we're really working to make it happen. So just please bear with us and stay patient as we try to sort through this never-ending kind of crisis. Jack is living in the States still, and us 3 are in Berlin. And we'd never planned on being apart for like this long at a stretch. This all just kind of snowballed at the you know, perfect culmination of events. And so we wanted to do a live stream, but it was just like, yeah, really hard to figure out how to do that. Yeah, basically we just wanted to, like, a year after Omens was released and we haven't been able to play any shows, we want to give people a taste of like what, you know, that material might sound like live and how the new band looks live, and also, you know, give us an excuse to finally shake off the cobwebs and get back to practicing and doing some shit again.
Shit sucks. It's horrible. Yeah. Can't play shows, you know. I haven't seen Jack in over a year. Almost 2 years. I've played music, we haven't hung out, we just like kicked it in a minute.
Over here, it's just, I guess the pandemic is having a slow fade over here. I'm now fully vaxxed. I don't know if these guys aren't yet, and it might take them longer, but on my end over here, it's just been hard to kind of a little hard to be inspired because I'm living back where I grew up in Marion, Massachusetts, and I don't really have too many musician friends here, so it's just been a lot of solo playing. So that's been kind of a struggle.
Yeah, I also agree. It's been when the Corona first hit, you know, I tried to be very productive, just making music at home, and then after months there's no new creative stimuli coming in, so like I don't know, I've just been feeling very uninspired just because there's no shows, there's no intake of new art, there's no communication with friends or family or people in person at least, so it's very hard to keep some sort of momentum or I don't want to say hope going, 'cause that's not an issue, but just like it's hard to stay creative and positive when lose. Also, like lost a year to 2 years with the income from touring, which is also sucks. But
here's Mr. Sunshine today.
yeah,
Jesus Christ.
But it's, I mean, yeah,
No, it's true.
It's true.
Yeah, it sucks.
That.
Well, Elder stuff, at least, I mean, I can say we've been quite busy. We've actually, we already scheduled recording time for what's going to be our next full length last month, but then we had to push that back twice already due to obvious circumstances. For a while, things were pretty hairy over here, and there was no way Jack could travel over, so we've just been pushing that back. So, yeah, needless to say, we've got a new record, and we're going to be recording it now at the end of summer. So we've been busy. We've actually culminated quite a lot of material, and even though it's just trading ideas sometimes back and forth via the internet, we still like get some semblance of a practice in over here. Anyhow, new album is on the horizon. We don't know when we're going to release it, of course. We haven't even played shows from Omens, but yeah.
Yeah, we haven't played a show since Omens has been released, nor since the Gold and Silver sessions have been released publicly, which is kind of crazy.
Wow.
Is that crazy?
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, that is weird.
Yeah, it got released after our last tour.
Fuck. There's one drum part with an offbeat so far.
What the hell what does that mean?
Yeah,
What is an offbeat?
An offbeat where you don't have the open hi-hat on the downbeats together with the...
Kick.
It's like in between... Yeah, like in between the kick and the snare.
Wow.
2% of the audience might understand that.
It's alright.
I mean, it's different in the fact that like we've really been working through it together a lot lately. I think it sounds pretty diverse. I mean, there's like new. I think there's like new kinds of atmospheres in it. Like there's some kind of like almost 80s sounding synths sometimes. But it's gonna be hard to tell like by the time we've recorded it, like what we do in the studio, how exactly the production's gonna shake out. Like Omens, I think, turned out quite differently than we initially expected to. Just going to a studio we had never recorded at before, working with a different engineer we had never used before. So
Experimenting with more effects and different tonalities and some slightly different rhythms, and just, I guess it's kind of like just Elder as a hodgepodge of varying influences, new and old. So. Cathedral Stained Glass Stories, great one. Hailing from Long Island, New York City, pretty cool.
Anthony Phillips, the Geese and the Ghost, I think it's called. It's kind of like medieval folk prog from an ex-Genesis guitarist.
Lucifer's Friend. I don't know how well known they are.
I don't know. They're kind of...
Yeah.
If anyone wants to listen to 70s
like-
style prog that's not necessarily like super well known, you can check out the Norwegian band Needlepoint, who is kind of like the torchbearers of Canterbury style prog rock. Really great band that's not that well known.
Not at all.
Yeah,
Needlepoint's probably the coolest prog rock band out currently, in my.
I would agree. Yeah. I use the Black Arts Pharaoh still as anyone who wants to see like an in detail kind of look at our pedal boards, at least from the past year, can go to the Premier Guitar Rig Rundown and check that out. But I like, for my chuggy fuzz, I always use the Pharaoh, and
Pharaoh chugs.
yeah, I mean, basically, I think you just need to get it like to a loud enough level where it's like compressing. The signal is just compressing on its way out, and then it sounds chuggy. If it's not loud enough, it doesn't really do that. So you have to piss off your whoever's in your practice space complex.
Always for my most heavy chuggable tones. There's a dude named John out of Virginia. He has a company called Basic Audio, and I use his Scarab Deluxe pedal, and which is probably the most versatile fuzz pedal I have, but it can definitely chug. It's like a weird tone bender style circuit, and it has an extreme amount of low end if you so desire, which definitely tends to chug and flub. Can you flub and chug?
I don't know.
I don't know.
I'm gonna pop in here and because I've been experimenting on my end with, and I don't think that bass is necessarily chug, but to get a more punchy fuzzy tone, I've been using an active pickup bass, and honestly, it sounds pretty fucking ripping with a bubble letter old green Big Muff.
Yeah, and we're all using tube amps, but I think none of us really like. Jack's playing a Model T. I use a high watt. Mike has his own custom built amp that's kind of like a JTM 45, I think.
Yeah, it's in the Plexi sphere.
And that's got a cool gain channel. I run my high watt very clean now and just use pedals, but
Yeah.
I have some amps that I prefer dirty, like Sound City sounds really cool. That's like got a nice master volume mod where it gets a really cool grit, but the high watts are pretty hard to push into that territory.
Yeah.
So-
Actually, with modern Elder stuff, I keep my amp pretty clean. Gator, got any insight on the chug?
I mean, the only proper answer is, of course, a cranked amp, and everything else sucks.
No, it chugs and it fucks.
Church of Misery, I think has some awesome stuff. Their earlier albums, Master of Brutality, that's one of my favorite grooviest heavy stoner rock records.
Sleep as the obvious answer.
No,
Yeah, I mean, I would say for classic stoner rock, Sleep was the first band that I was really, or actually, probably one of the first bands that I was attracted to in high school.
Electric Wizard, the self-titled, the weird, the blue record where you look with like the magician on the front.
yeah.
That record's pretty fucking cool.
Yeah, they're great. I mean, they are great records for sure. It's kind of hard. Like, I don't even like know any newer bands at this point, just because it's kind of like with like classic rock stuff. I just kind of gravitate back towards the stuff that I listened to, and that was like enough, you know.
Yeah.
Caius. Some of you have noticed that I have recorded a solo record. Although I prefer not to think of it as a solo project because it is going to come to life in a live setting, but the band is called Delving. It's a record that I recorded in winter by myself with some help from Mike over here. And yeah, that record's coming out if this video comes out on the 4th, then just a week from today on the 11th.
Comes out on me, actually.
Well, if this video drops on June 4th, then it'll come out. Some instrumental, psychedelic kind of krautrock stuff. And there's going to be a tour for that in Europe, also November, December. So keep your eyes peeled for that. And if you want to listen to some other stuff that's kind of like Gold and Silver Sessions, you can check that out.
My thinking about moving to Europe. When I was in Berlin I lived in Berlin for 3 months, and that was a blast. It's a little hard. I don't have any sort of visa, and now with the pandemic, like I don't even know what the hell the process of even acquiring a visa would be. I don't know if I would permanently move to Europe, but I would love to do another stint, like a year, half a year. That would be pretty chill. Hang out with the guys. I think that I effectively will be living in Europe for a while, touring. So it's nice living here in the States. It is. I like both places. Why can't I live in both places?
No offense intended. I mean, I think also all of it just kind of like, well, except for Georg, who is a German, we just kind of drifted over here and stuck here. It wasn't like that planned, really.
There's the rudimental ritual for the drummers. That's an exercise taught by Alan Dawson that incorporates basically all the rudiments you can play. And I have that memorized, and I just play it before a show to a click track or some music. It's always good.
I drink beer, a couple beers.
Couple beers, couple cigs, a little stretch. Gotta do a big stretch.
Yeah, that's good.
I'm in the same boat. Yeah. A beer, maybe, I try to maybe do a couple of scale practices.
Oh,
Ready to Die, Biggie.
The Roots, Things Fall Apart. Yeah.
Cannibal Ox, The Cold Vein.
Freddie Gibbs has been kind of killing it. The Alfredo, that record is with The Alchemist produced it.
I was
That
just listening to
record's
Freddie
really
Gibbs
good.
this morning. I was listening to the Pinata.
I gotta give a shout out to Necro, I Need Drugs, great album, classic.
Oh shoot! What the hell's the guy's name? You don't even smoke crack.
Viper.
Oh, Viper!
Dude,
Fuck yeah!
Viper.
That's if
Viper.
Matt
Any
was
one
here.
of his
That's
1,000 albums that he's made.
We'll just answer it in.
Don't even smoke crack.
Yeah, let's take that back. Rewind, Viper. Okay.
Yes.
Georg?
Love sliced thin. Elephant 9 Atlantis. No?
No, I haven't really listened to that so much.
Pretty good. Or that was one of the first jazz rock records I listened to. So.
I don't really know shit about jazz. I never listened to jazz. There's like a few people I listened to kind of recently. Greg Fote I really like. He's got some cool albums. But I'm not like a jazz guy at all, so.
Growing up, I used to be super into jazz. I mean, I would say the cliche album is, I would say, "A Love Supreme" by John Coltrane is, I don't know, the gold standard for jazz music.
I really love that Grover Washington Jr. record, Mr. Magic. That record is fucking badass. Even though it's kind of proggy. It's like prog jazz. I guess jazz is prog. Prog is jazz.
But in general, anything Elvin Jones played on is great.
Elton John's not jazz, bro.
No? Damn.
Kind of like the Gold and Silver Sessions. A lot of people like the Gold and Silver Sessions record. I would say we would definitely do something like that again, is my feeling.
I would hope so too. It's a little hard to do that stuff currently because we're divided up. Jack's not here, so it's kind of hard to make improvisational instrumental music without the entire band. Because a lot of it is based on live improvisation and interpretation. So
yeah, because
it's hard
at
to
least
do
two of the songs on the Gold and Silver Sessions were pretty much stemmed from us just jam. I'm pretty sure. Like they kind of came up on the spot and they developed into songs over us practicing and jamming over time. So when we get back together, finally, it might just happen. It might just, something will bloom.
Yeah. It's nice to do that sort of like less composed stuff every once in a while, so.
Are we talking about snacks or like proper food?
I don't know, but
I just gotta say this. If you're a show promoter, and I get it, there's probably a lot of American bands in particular that like when they're traveling, they want to eat some McDonald's or some comfort food or something, but we want to try the local cuisine.
But whatever food we do get, and I'm going to make a plug right here, I like to douse it with my good friend Jake Newcomb of Nuke's Hot Sauce, New Elder Hot Sauce. Look at that, it's gorgeous. I know that you can go to Jake Newcomb's, or the Nuke's Hot Sauce website, and I believe he had a pre-order up, so.
Yeah, this
It's
is not
available
just a
soon to
joke
you
for
out
this
there.
video. This is a real hot sauce, and you should order it.
It's
We
delicious.
worked closely with our buddy Jake of Nukes developing the recipe that fits perfectly. It's got elderflower syrup in there, as well as mango, habanero, and a lot of love.
A lot of love.